Thank you, Madam Chair. Let the record show I have 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and participate. And Dr. Dickman, this question is for you. This past year, public researchers involved in communicating the science of biotechnology and its impacts have actually been targeted, both professionally and personally. I'm sure you're aware of that. Doctor, as a public scientist, can you give me more background kind of into the current academic feeling on this public outreach? Y'all are getting targeted. A lot of some stuff's been aimed at you. What's the feeling amongst your peers?
Well, a number of things, disappointment and things of that nature. When you see a greenhouse that's been destroyed by stones, for example, with all kinds of messages written on them, it's a bit disconcerting. But in terms of people's research, I don't think that has impacted it. I mean, people are still doing what they plan to do and continue to do and get funded to do. So while it's an unfortunate circumstance, I really don't think it's really had a strong impact on people's ability to do work, with the exception that there is some material things that have been destroyed and needed to be replaced. It's actually not too bad now, I would say.
Not too bad. You actually said, I believe in your discussion with the chairwoman, that you felt like you all needed to do a better job of showing capabilities and I guess educating the public.
Very much so.
Has that been progressing?
Well, I do it on a sort of a grassroots level. We don't have any organized framework with which to do this. I think we do. We do need that, whether it be from academic or companies.
Have you done the genomic sequencing on that grass? You said grassroots level.
That's actually in the queue for other reasons.
All right, so you're doing it at the basic level is what you're saying.
Well, there's a number of turf breeders who work strictly on golf course turf you might want to talk to.
There's a shock, huh? Well, thank you for that. And Dr. Evans, as you know, Dow Chemical has a lot of industry in my district there in Texas. In fact, I was going to tell the gentleman from Illinois, he left before I could, that there was 78,000 jobs associated with this. In Texas, there's 81,000 jobs. So things are bigger in Texas. So, but Dr. Evans, you also mentioned in the 3 C's of national needs, both continuing to support national scientific funding agencies and convening forums of discussion for that public engagement or outreach that Dr. Dickman and I were just discussing. With limited resources in public research, what role do companies, for example, like Dow Chemical play in promoting that scientific interest?
Well, I think one of the ways we have been involved last year with the help of the NSF, the Woodrow Wilson Institute, there was a convening of companies, regulatory bodies, and non-governmental entities that had interest in the environmental release of microorganisms, whether they be algal strains that might do chemical production or concepts that synthetic biology might want to bring into the environment. That group at least published recommendations for where things could go, with some of those recommendations being specific federal funding. Now, companies, I do think, need to be able to know where to direct their research, and their research needs to be aimed at their product technology space and legitimate questions around that product area. But there are some things that just are big enough in scope, or they are fundamental questions of biology or biotechnology that are more properly addressed in integrative lab studies from multi-university settings, or they might be appropriate to be something that would be the outcome of a national lab and a focused program. But industry could then, even in that scenario, be an appropriate partner. I think the thing from the public perspective is we need to make sure that the public can see transparently where those contributions are being made and impact.
That's a good point. You know, in your discussion with the gentleman from New York, Representative Tonko, I think you said just because we can do something, you should ask the question, should we do something? And if the public perceives that a company is getting involved, is that a conflict of interest? I think you were the one who said, let me quote you earlier, you said that we needed more feed, fuel, fiber, and food by 2050 than in the last 10,000 years. That's an astounding fact. And with limited resources available, I think if the public knew, what was at stake here, that they might not be so suspicious. But I appreciate your testimony, and Madam Chair, your indulgence, and I yield back.